So once again, we are at the Strong Museum, but today we have been given permission to go into the archives for the museum to see where they store even the most rare of things. So this is kind of a peek behind the scenes. And I, for one, am very excited. I can't wait to see what's behind these doors. Let's see what they have. So secretive, the alarms are going off that we're in here.
So all of these shelving units are movable so that essentially the aisle moves.
Corey has some of these shelves at his house for his games.
Got tens of thousands of games, right? So you...
Close.
Well, we can probably show you close to tens of thousands.
Plot to assassinate Hitler. You know, the popular family game.
Yeah, lots of war strategy games, some controversial topics related to war.
Here's Ulcers, the board game.
You'll have a belly-aching good time.
All the big names in gaming are here.
Yeah, so we have a collection from Alan Moon. These are all the Rio Grande games here on this side.
I mean, if anybody was like the father of board games, the most influential, it's got to be Sid Sackson. He made so many games in, I think, starting in the 60s, maybe even 50s. Can't Stop is his most famous.
See, my problem is I scan these and I'm like, ooh, Dragon Riders, that speaks to me. I don't know anything about it, but I want to play it.
Are you allowed to just pull them off the shelves and play them?
I don't think so. I mean, they are meant to be played at the end of the day.
This whole museum is meant to be played.
I don't know. There's some originals in here, some handwritten original things that I don't think anybody wants to play. I want all of these.
I do too. I'm just gonna set up a bed back there in the corner, sleep here, and play games. Is that okay? Is that cool? It's the ghost of Margaret Strong. She's saying, take as many games as you want. We love your show. She's a fan. Oh, doors this time. There we go. Ooh, you can smell the age.
Yeah, somebody once said it smells a little bit like maple syrup, and that's sort of stuck in my head since then.
It kind of does.
But so most of these are games going back to the 1800s.
There's St. Nick.
Santa Claus, everyone's favorite game, Santa Claus.
Tit-tat-toe. That's the improved version of the game too. It's funny, like we do have this mental perception of like board gaming being kind of limited when we were kids, because when you talk about board games, you're like Monopoly, Scrabble, like Life, but there have always been a vast array of games that are just kind of below that surface. Like these are all very different, very varied, and
yeah, and for the
existed
1800s,
before
it's
that.
a huge variety of game set.
So the old Avalon Hill bookshelf games were like the staple in the 70s, 80s, or even some back to the 50s. 3M and Avalon Hill made these vertical bookshelf. The one that really everybody wanted and still kind of wants today, I saw it back here, Dune the board game. So this one, everybody loved it. They had the license from the Herbert estate, but it was pulled in the early 80s. There was still an edition made in France you could get through the late 80s. But for a long time, you just couldn't get it. And then it was just a couple years ago that they renewed the license through the movies. And now Gale Force 9 is the publisher that makes a new edition of Dune. But, man, I wish I had one of those. They'll never know if I take one.
Shane said we could have whatever we want.
Oh, you're the best, Shane. This was one of the first arcade games I really fell in love with, was Hard Driving. I think it was early 80s.
For real, you used to play this game?
Oh yeah, in the arcade. It was one of the first sit-down, get inside at arcade games I remember. So if you ever want to like unload some stuff, or you need extra storage in California, I gotcha.
You know a place?
I would kill for an old Star Wars stand-up.
Well, there's two.
Vector graphics, man.
Again.
They just don't do good vector graphics machines
We've
anymore.
got an extra.
Yeah, there's
1980s, hanging out at the arcade in a moldy basement. I played all of these.
Zookeeper.
Zookeeper had this square brick wall and you had to run around the outside of it, keeping it intact, or the animals would escape out. The Laserdisc inside this bad boy is a super collector's item.
This is the one where they really started with the animation.
Yeah, it was animation by Don Bluth. Look at this Hulk art. This has got to be 70s Gottlieb.
Yeah, that's...
That's so cool.
Definitely a game of its time. Your goal is to look in the viewfinder and to drop an atomic bomb, which is sort of inconceivable now that somebody would make that game, that somebody wouldn't want to play that game. But again, it's a sign of the times. It's what people were thinking about.
Yeah, they were playing it up as an incredible scientific achievement that we were able to do it in the 40s.
Yeah, and it ended the war, and this was for the good, and come by and try your hand at dropping an atomic bomb.
Oppenheimer's favorite game.
He played the real version.
He did.
Thank you. Thank you. Be here all week.
Hi ho. I can't do a good Kermit. Hey ho, Kermit the Frog. Frog, 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 Kermit the Frog. Nailed it. Perfect Kermit impression.
My name is Elmo.
Better? Thanks.
Elmo do this. Elmo like to play games. Elmo loves games.
What's up, bro? We meet again. Although we actually never met. It says the Parker brothers, but it looks like the Parker sisters. I want to be a part of the pastime department. It sounds like what they do is they just probably play tested the games, right? Yeah, I want to be a part of the pastime department.
Tactics 2 was a really famous war game, and there were so many board game designers I interviewed that they said their intro into gaming was their father playing Tactics 2 with them. It really is, it's a Avalon Hill, it's a piece of history. They've got 2 of them.
Anti-Monopoly?
Yeah, Anti-Monopoly came out, and then the Monopoly companies, Parker Brothers at the time, sued them. And he actually countersued, saying that Monopoly itself was plagiarized from a landlord game, and it turned into a big deal, and eventually he won the right to make it. But
Yeah.
there's a whole documentary about it.
Okay.
When's the last time you played nutsy tennis?
Last night in my hotel room.
Thought I heard noises coming through the wall.